Good day everyone. Today, we will be discussing the preventive imprisonment and its legal aspects under the Module 21 of CRI 180 Non-Institutional Correction under the guidance of Sir Gab Albacete. So this is very important topic in our criminal justice system because it talks about the legal situation of individuals who are detained while their cases are still ongoing. Kaya mahalaga na mas maintindihan natin kung paano ito i-apply under the law. So, with that, let us now proceed to our learning targets to see what we are expected to learn in this lesson. So, for the learning targets of this topic, at the end of this module, students will be able to discuss the concept of the preventive imprisonment and at the same time explain the legal aspects of the preventive imprisonment. So what is Republic Act number 10592 all about?
Republic 10592 is a law that amends some articles of the revised penal code. So this law focuses on giving inmates time allowances or sentence reduction for good behavior and other positive activities. So the purpose of this law is to encourage prisoners to behave well and participate in rehabilitation programs while they are in jail. So salient provisions of RA 10592, number 1, the expansion of good conduct time allowance. So this law expanded the good conduct time allowance and made it applicable event to prisoners who are under preventive imprisonment. So this means that even if the person is still waiting for the court decision, they can earn deduction in their sentence if they show good behavior. So number 2, increase in the number of days for good conduct. So RA 10592 increase the number of days that can be deducted from the sentence of prisoners who consistently show good behavior and discipline while in prison. So this encourage inmates to follow prison rules and maintain good conduct. Number 3, additional deduction for study teaching or mentoring. The law also allows prisoners to receive an additional deduction of 15 days for every month if they participate in studying, teaching, or mentoring other inmates. Number 4, expansion of special time allowance for loyalty. So RA 10592 also expanded the special time allowance for loyalty. This benefit is given to prisoners who do not escape during the emergencies or who voluntarily surrender after escaping during disasters under this law. This allowance can also apply even during preventive imprisonment.
Preventive imprisonment is a temporary detention of a person in jail while the case is still under investigation or trial, means the accused has not yet been finally convicted and the detention is only to ensure the person appears in court and does not escape or interfere with the case. So example, if a person is arrested for theft and cannot post bail, they may stay in jail while the court hears the case. That time is called preventive imprisonment. Credit for preventive imprisonment means that the time the accused spent in jail before the final judgment is deducted from the prison sentence. Example, a person stayed 1 year in jail during trial, then the court later sentenced him to 5 years imprisonment. 1 year already served will be deducted, so only 4 years remain. Grounds for entitlement of full credit for preventive imprisonment. For an accused to receive full credit for the time spent in jail, there's 4 certain conditions that must be met. First is voluntarily sign the PDL's manifestation. The PDL must sign a manifestation agreeing to follow disciplinary rules of prisoners. Second is not a recidivist, a person who commits crime after already being convicted of another crime under the same law. Third is has not been previously convicted twice or more of any crime. If a person has been convicted 2 or more times before, the law considers them a habitual offenders. And lastly is has not been summoned for the execution of sentence and voluntarily surrendered.
Recidivist. So this is a person who, while being tried for a new crime, has already been convicted before of another crime that falls under the same category title of the Revised Penal Code. Example, if someone was previously convicted of theft and is now being tried for another theft, they are a recidivist. The next one is habitual delinquent. So, this refers to a person who, within 10 years after being released from prison or after their last conviction for a serious or less serious crime, like robbery, theft, estafa, physical injuries, or falsification, commits any of these crimes a third time or more. For example, a person convicted of robbery twice and then commits theft again within 10 years is considered a habitual delinquent. So the grounds for non-entitlement for full credit of preventive imprisonment. So if a person deprived of liberty wants full credit for time served before conviction, there are certain conditions that will disqualify them. So the PDL must express their choice regarding participation in programs or rights. If they refuse to sign this, they cannot get full credit even if they sign the waiver. Is a recidivist. So since recidivists have previous convictions, they are automatically disqualified from full credit for preventive imprisonment. Next one is has been convicted previously twice or more times of any crime. So even if the current crime is not related to previous ones, having 2 or more prior convictions prevent full credit. So, has been summoned for the execution of his sentence but failed to surrender voluntarily. So, if a person has been ordered to report to prison but does not do so willingly, they lose full credit. So, partial credit, even if a PDL is disqualified for full credit, they can still get 4/5 of preventive imprisonment provided they sign the PDL waiver. For example, if a PDL was in preventive detention for 100 days but did not qualify for full credit, they would still get 80 days credited towards their sentence. That's all.
Dito naman tayo sa Implementing Rules and Regulations of the Republic Act 10592. Sa Section 6, the provisional release while under preventive imprisonment. So ano nga ba ang sabi dito? So ang sabi dito na if the detention prisoner does not agree to abide by the same disciplinary rules imposed upon the convicted prisoners, he shall do so in writing with the assistance of a counsel and shall be credited in the service of his sentence with 4/5 of this time during which he has undergone preventive imprisonment. So for you to understand it better, let me further explain this provision. Sa Section 6 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations sa Republic Act 10592 discusses the provisional release and sentence credit of a person who is under preventive imprisonment. So ano nga ba ang preventive imprisonment? So for you to understand it, preventive imprisonment refers to the detention of an accused person while the court is still ongoing and before a final judgment is made. So sa madaling paliwanag, ang tao daw dito ay nakakakulong muna. So meaning na priso sa daw siya habang hinihintay ang desisyon ng korte kung siya ba ay guilty o hindi. So dito, hindi pa siya convicted pero nasa sa custody ng jail authority. So under this provision, a detention prisoner daw may agree to abide by the same disciplinary rules imposed upon convicted prisoner. So dito, if the detainee agrees to follow these rules and regulations, the entire period of the preventive imprisonment may be credited to the service of his sentence. So in the event that he is later convicted. However, if the detention prisoner does not agree to follow those disciplinary rules, the law requires that such refusal must be made in writing and with the assistance of a counsel or yung tinatawag nating legal counsel. So in this situation, only 4/5 of the total time spent in preventive imprisonment will be credited toward the service of the sentence. So, ibig sabihin na hindi buo ang mababawas sa kanyang sistensya kung hindi siya sumunod sa parehong disciplinary rules ng mga convicted prisoners. So, instead, 80% lamang ng panahon na siya ay nasa preventive imprisonment ang maaaring makredit sa kanya. So, this provision promotes discipline, accountability, and proper conduct among detention prisoners. So while at the same time ensuring that their legal rights are protected through the assistance of counsel while making such a decision. So in essence, the rule encourages detainees to observe institutional discipline while awaiting trial. So while also establishing a fair and a structured system for crediting the same they spent in detention. So for you to understand it more and more, I will give you examples. So si Juan ay nakakulong habang hinihintay ang desisyon ng korte sa kanyang kaso. So habang siya ay nasa detention, palagi siyang sumusunod sa jail's rules and regulations. So dito, kung makonvict manggaling siya, ang buong panahon na siya ay nasa preventive imprisonment ay mababawas sa kanyang sentensya. So ibig sabihin, kung 1 year siyang nakakulong habang hinihintay ang kanyang trial, ay 1 year din ang mababawas sa kanyang final sentence. So paano naman kung hindi siya sumusunod sa mga disciplinary rules na ina-impose sa mga convicted prisoners? So kailangan niyang gumawa ng written statement with assistance of a legal counsel. So, kapag siya daw ay na-convict, hindi buong panahon ng kanyang detention ang mababawas sa kanyang sentensya. So, only 4/5 or 80% of the time will be credited. So, halimbawa, kung 10 months daw si Juan na nakakulong habang naghihintay ng trial, 8 months daw ang mababawas sa kanyang sentensya. So the difference if nag-follow o wala nag-follow, if nag-follow, kanang 100% yun daw ang mababawas sa kanyang sentensya. So kung what if 1 year siya nag-wait sa kanyang trial, so 1 year po mababawas. Pero if wala ka nag-follow sa disciplinary rules na nag-impose sa mga convicted prisoners, only 4/5 daw ang mag-credit sa imo o only 4/5 lang po ang mabawas sa imuwang sentensya. Proceed naman tayo sa next slide.
The Section 8, deduction for credit for preventive imprisonment when impossible penalty is reclusion perpetua. So the basic idea is that if a person is detained while waiting for the court decision, that time is called the preventive imprisonment. So the rule says that if kanak nga person has already stayed in jail for a period equal sa iyang maximum possible penalty for the crime charge, that person must be released immediately, even if the trial is not finished yet. However, ang iyang case will still continue in court. The release is temporary and the accused must still attend the trial. The time spent in jail is counted with good conduct time allowance or GCTA. Ang meaning ana, ang good behavior may reduce the time considered. For example, Pedro is charged with a crime whose maximum penalty is 2 years imprisonment. He has been in jail while waiting for the trial for 2 years already. A young case is still ongoing pa, pero Pedro must be released immediately even if the trial is not finished. But the case still mag-continuous pa rin in court. He must still attend hearings. And also there's another example with good conduct time allowance. So Maria is charged with a crime with a maximum penalty of 3 years. She stayed in jail for 2 years and 6 months. Pero because she had good behavior, she earned GCTA credits equal to 6 months. So na-add to siyang total. So the total counted time becomes 2 years 6 months the time nga nagstay siya in jail, plus ang 6 months because of good conduct time allowance, now, equals na to 3 years. So now, Maria can now be released. But there's also an exception. Kanang people who cannot use this rule. This does not apply to recidivists, people who commit crime again after makonvict sila, habitual delinquents, escapees, and persons with heinous crimes, for example like rape, murder, and etc. Kani siya nga people cannot be released early using this rule. And also, if the accused does not attend the trial, for example, if the accused does not appear in court without valid reason, the court can order the rearrest of the accused. It means arreston siya otro. For example, if the accused skips a trial, for example, one was released because his preventive imprisonment already reached the maximum penalty, but later, he did not attend the court hearing. So, unsa may tabo kay Juan. So, the court may order his rearrest. And also, there's a special rule for kanang destierro. If the maximum penalty is destierro, it means banishment from a place, not jail. The accused must be released after 30 days of preventive imprisonment. I can give you an example for a destierro case. For example, si James is charged with a crime punishable by destierro. So it means she is exiled from a certain place. She stayed in jail for 30 days while the trial was ongoing, so she must be released after 30 days. And that would be all. Thank you.
Now, let us proceed to the Rule 4, which is the benefits of credit for the preventive imprisonment, or the CPI. So, this rule states that an accused person who is in the preventive imprisonment, wherein they are detained while their case is ongoing and that they are not finally convicted, can get the full credit of all the time that they have spent in detention towards their sentence if there are two conditions that they will meet. The first condition is that they voluntarily agree in writing to follow the same disciplinary rules as prisoners who have been finally convicted. The second one is that they make this agreement with the help of a lawyer. So the PDL's manifestation is the formal written document that fulfills this requirement, prepared with the legal assistance in order to secure the full credit for their detention time. So, for additional information, the preventive imprisonment, or the CPI, is not a punishment, but a measure in order to ensure that the accused appears in courts and protects the community. The credit for this time is intended to prevent the unfair hardship if the accused is later convicted. So, if the accused does not submit this written manifestation with the counsel assistance, they may still get partial credit, which is usually 80% of the detention period, and it is under the relevant laws depending on the circumstances of their case. So, the requirement for the counsel ensures that the accused understands the terms of the agreement. So, as following convicted prisoners' rules may involve stricter conditions than those for the unconvicted detainees. So, this provision is part of laws aimed to upholding the rights of prisoners deprived of liberty, or the PDLs, and it is ensuring fairness in the administration of justice.
So, Section 5, the effects of detainees waiver. An accused who has undergone preventive imprisonment and who does not agree to abide by the same disciplinary rules imposed upon prisoners convicted by final judgment shall be credited in the service of his sentence with 4/5 of the time during which he has undergone preventive imprisonment if, first, he shall do so in writing; second, with the assistance of a counsel. PDL's waiver is a written declaration of the PDL with the assistance of a counsel stating his or her refusal to abide by the same disciplinary rules imposed upon a final judgment, and thus shall be entitled to a credit of 4/5 of the time during his preventive imprisonment. So, kanang section 5, kanang, kung ikaw isa ka pinariso, nga dili ka gusto ma-follow sa rules, prisuhan, or kanang gina-follow sa mga pinariso na yun nga na-convict na sa final judgment, pwede ka mo balibad ka na, nga dili ka mo follow. Imong buhaton, mag-sign ka og waiver. Muna unang buhaton, mag-sign ka og waiver. Then ikaduha is kanang dapat with the assistance of a counsel. So para makakuha ka na, mo to imong nabuhaton, sign ka og waiver, then assistance sa counsel. So, sa may tabo, makakuha ka og mag-credit imong sentence, silbi 4/5 or 80% sa imong sentence before sa trial, makuhaan og 80%. Example, 100 days ka na mapriso before trial. Then ang kanang 100 days, mga kuha na kagatong credit nga 4/5 or 80%, maminusan imong sentence before trial. So, imbis 100 to, minusan ng 80%, 20% talabilin. So, mo to, before sa trial, mag-preso na lang ka og 20%, katong 100 days, dayon, ahead ka mag-trial. Maro to, section 5, PDL effects of detainees waiver.
Good day, everyone. My name is Reynolds Avilta Turtol. I will discuss the mandatory procedure of the grant of 4/5 in CPI. So, first one is the PDL doesn't want to sign the manifestation after the benefits were explained. He or she shall sign the PDL waiver containing a declaration that Article 29 RPC Article 29 RPC was fully explained and understood by him or her. So, and he or she doesn't want to evade its benefits to evade the disciplinary rules imposed upon convicted prisoners. So, if the PDL dili siya gusto mo sign anang manifestation because of the rules of manifestation is ipariha na kanila sa convicted person. Like nanagid daan sa presuhan nga natulan ng final judgment. So, mag-sign kuno ka og PDL waiver which is katong 4/5. Though, the execution of the PDL waiver shall entitle the PDL to only 4/5 of his preventive confinement. This shall be considered whenever the computation of his preventive judgment prevented imprisonment is done for the purpose to availing release under Article 29 RPC. So, ang kuan ko ang PDL ko if dili siya gusto nga musulod ato nga rules like disciplinary para sa mga pareha sa mga convicted person na katong natulan na sa mga final judgment, so dito siya mabutang sa 4/5. Dili man siya gusto nga katong rules mulabag siya adto nga rules. If mulabag siya adto nga rules sa manifestation is dili ni siya makakuha adto. So dito siya mabutang sa 4/5. So ang 4/5 is kanang 80% of his confinement before the final judgment, most to ang maminus sa iyang final sentence. For example, ang fourth, fifth is 80% man. So 100 days ka na confined before your final judgment. So 100 days, so 80% man, so 80 days ka. Ang imong 80 days nga sa fourth, fifth is ma-minus na sa imong final judgment, ay final sentence. So ang manifestation pod is 100% your confinement before the final judgment is final judgment. So 100% man, so 100 days ka dito sa prisuhan nga wala pa ka nahatulan, mao na ang ma-minus sa imong final sentence. So that's all for the procedures of the Grand Fourth, Fifth in CPI. And that's all. Thank you.